Rebuild of the favorites. We here for the latest. South side or the north side. Not tuned to the greatest. Home team for the home teams. Both sides got our own rings. On the mound or the long ball. But we don't put the wrong strings. Yeah. It's that time of the year now. Wrigley or guarantee, so the whole league that we here now. New show with a new mood. Discussions and interviews. Trade rumors that might be. This is Pinwheels and Knife. Yeah.
All right. You guys ready?
See.
3, 2, 1. What's going on, everybody? It is Thursday, November 22nd, and you have found the Pinwheels and Ivy podcast. I'm your host, Matt Swaski, a.k.a. Southside Zoe, a.k.a. Father Zoe, and with me, as always, Mr. Aldo Soto.
Last day of summer, Wednesday night, or Wednesday, and probably like end of the season for the White Sox.
And the good Reverend K-Fitz.
I'm just here to debut my new baseball-themed ASMR. Big Frank, big fly, big frame, double in the gap.
I don't know how you're going to follow that, Mitch, but NASCAR Mitch is here as well.
It's a sad reality when I realize I'm going to be paying more attention to the NASCAR playoffs and the White Sox in October. And that sunk in yesterday, and it's depressing. If you would have said that 5 years ago, I would have been like,
yeah,
that's no shot. No shot.
White Sox 2022, baby. I think that's in my bio on Instagram. Anyways, I think I put it there like 3 years ago. As you can tell, that's where this show's going today. So we're gonna.
Well, the Cubs have been dead for like 6 months.
Yeah, I don't know. In all honesty, and this isn't like a teaser or like a lead-in to get you guys to. I don't know where I'm going with this tonight. I can get really fucking mad. I could just be like slap happy. I could be happy that like the pain is over. I don't know. This can go in a lot of different directions. So tune in for my mental breakdown. All that and then some. Let's tap this keg. As always, the show is brought to you by Sports Mockery, sportsmockery.com. Make sure you download the app, turn on push notifications. So I don't even know what we would be pushing at this point. Chicago sports is trash.
Tony La Russa fired.
The NASCAR playoffs.
And
there you go. We do have one NASCAR article on Sports Mockery with the Chicago Street Course race.
There you go.
There is one that slipped through the cracks. So.
Yeah, I think we dipped our toe in that pond once, and we didn't get a very.
The ratings didn't agree with it, so that was the end of our.
If you ever want to look up on Twitter, there's a SMWWE account that lasted like 2 weeks. Although you were here for that, Aldo.
Yeah,
Did you get the NASCAR account?
I think we had like live attendance. So we had like credentialed people out there.
Yeah,
I'd like to hear you say credentials again one more time. That was awesome.
Credential.
That's like me saying curmudgeon. I can't say curmudgeon.
So
Comb.
Sports Mockery, sportsmockery.com.
Mockery.
It all came down to this, folks. Came down to a 3-game series. With the Cleveland Indians. Cleveland was up 4 games going into the game on Tuesday night. Tensions were high. Definitely felt like playoff atmosphere, playoff vibes. Mitch, were you at the game?
No, surprisingly.
Yeah, surprisingly. But
I went the one against the Rockies. They lost 3-0, and I'm like, that's it. I can't anymore.
Just watching it from home, like it was like appointment TV. White Sox had their perennial Cy Young Award winner on the bump. Well, I don't know if that dog's hunting anymore, but top 3 Cy Young finisher on the bump in Dylan Cease. It was a home game. The Guardians, I'm going to charge me $1 every time I call them the Indians. The Guardians had a guy coming off his first start off the IR. Feeling pretty good. Feeling pretty good going into the game Tuesday night. I do not feel good anymore. It was an amazing game. Don't get me wrong. But as I was watching it, I don't think there could have been a better microcosm of how to describe the 2022 White Sox than that game on Tuesday night. The ups, the downs, the stupid errors, the dumbass plays, the redemption, the heroes, the villains, just everything. It all played. It was like watching a fucking Disney Plus special of like the review of. I am gonna get mad at this episode. Just spoiler alert, because the more I talk, the more angry I'm getting of the 2022 White Sox. the most frustrating White Sox teams possibly in the history of the Chicago White Sox.
It had that, but then you also had like all the breaks. Like you had the out call on the Rosario play at home, where he was clearly safe. You had, I mean, the bullpen gives up the lead, but then you fight back in extras after you give up 2 runs. You get to Class A, one of the best closers in baseball.
Only
You
6
feel
blown
ready to
saves.
go, and you still lose.
And Jose Abreu.
I think the most frustrating part, and this, I was thinking about this like the entire game, was the fact that it came down to this game, like Zoe said, and it never should have.
Nope.
The fact that it came down to this series means the season was a failure already, even if they were to sweep them. Like, it was pathetic. So, like, you know, you can blame the managing or Diekman or Lambert or whoever you want to, but it was the fact that it came down to a season or a series in late September against the Guardians. Like, it's already the season's a failure right there.
And as we record this, part of the reason for that, the building anger, just to be transparent with everyone like we always are, is we're recording this on Wednesday night. It is now 8:13 Central Standard Time, and the White Sox are already losing 5-0 to the Guardians, and it's not looking good.
This might be premature.
It's error galore.
Oh
Yeah, no, I'm if this was a week ago, I'd be like, come on, now let it rip.
Mitch makes a good point too, man. And you know, you hear this, and okay, and this is where people get they lose the message, right? You know, when someone says, "Hey, you know, don't panic," and it's early in the season, you know, and they're like, "Hey,
it's
you know,
6-0."
Yeah, but oh god, don't hold it.
Dude,
but the fact is,
motherfucker,
it's just kill. He's a pest as fuck.
Hit a solo shot. Does he even hit a home run?
He's a fast hitter. He's got 5 homers. He's got like.
Well, he's got 6 now.
But if anybody says games in the early season, games in April and May don't matter, they're stupid. First off, because this is exactly why they matter. But secondly, don't mistake like people saying we lost in April and May, and you know, you know, like basically not the people that are saying it's okay to lose, because I know it's never okay to lose ever. No. But it does, you know, the ebb and flow of a season is, you know, up and down, playing poorly, playing good, playing poor. So like when you're saying, hey, hang on, it's going to get better, you're not saying it's okay to lose. But there are a lot of people that have said it's early in the season, you know, and don't mistake saying it's early in the season these wins and losses don't matter. Every damn win matters, because right now you wouldn't be in a dogfight right now if you just took care of the Royals in whatever May or whatever. Think about 4 games, 5 games over the long haul of not choking or shitting. What didn't they blow a 6-run lead at one point?
Yeah.
Yep.
I mean, these things matter. Little things equal big things, no matter if they're in April or if they're in September, and they do. It's just they get lost in the shuffle. But when you say it's early, I don't think a lot of people are saying it's okay to lose. I think they're just saying hopefully they can figure this shit out, because it's not good right now. But those games are busting you in the balls later on, like right now.
The one that sticks with me that I was really, really pissed about, and people told me, calm down, there's still time, was when they got fucking just donkey punched by the fucking Diamondbacks. At home.
Oh, yeah, that was horrible. That was a horrible loss.
Well, I mean, people like the White Sox, people tell you who they are, and you got to believe them. And everyone's like, oh, they're going to turn it around. Well, like the White Sox, like you could see there's offensive problems when they got 1 hit against the Orioles and lost 3 games in a row at home. Like they told you the base running was sloppy when they're running into the first ever 8-4 triple play. You know, they told you the bullpen was bad when they're blowing these 6-run leads in the 9th inning. Like they told us who they were the entire season, and we were just waiting for a turnaround, and it never happened. Like this is exactly who the White Sox were, and like you said, it was a microcosm of what happened last night. It's exactly what this team's been all season.
Special times. So I think every White Sox fan should be able to unquestionably be disappointed, upset, frustrated. You know, if people are out there and they want to, you know, we'll look at the positives from the season, which there were. Let them do that, man. Like, let people react to this how they want to. I'm already seeing some bullshit going on like Twitter and Facebook and all that shit. Like, just let people do what they want to do to this shit. It's like, it's not, I'm in no capacity comparing this to like a death of a family member, but people fucking mourn differently, dude.
Yeah.
Like, people deal with like, people can be angry, dude. Like, there's going to be some irrational shit. I'm already seeing people saying like, yeah, hand Jose Abreu his papers. What the fuck?
There's a lot of wisdom here. Here comes some wisdom. Are you ready? You ready for this? It's already happening.
We want nothing.
It's back.
I don't know what that was. But no, I heard it. By playing it more doesn't make it better.
Ozzy cries are already back.
Talk about
Like,
Ozzie Smith.
yep, it's already chanting the "We want Ozzy" at Guaranteed Rate Field. But you know what the thing is too? Is just think about this as the stages of grief, right? Everyone's going to go through their stages of grief differently. Aldo and I are very familiar with this over the last 5 to 6 years with a high expectation Cubs team. There is some anger. There will be pain. There will be embarrassment. People will act like shit to each other. Some people might just pull off Twitter completely. You might get silence, but everyone's going to go through this. You know, I mean, the sun still does rise tomorrow, but man, this shit sucks. And Aldo and I can, you know, one thing that we can say is that we can empathize because this has been the Cubs since 2016 for us. And unfortunately, it really sucks because again, like there was so much expectation this year for you guys, and these fans, unfortunately, everyone's going to have. It's going to be a rough night on the south side a little bit. But you know what?
I mean, I feel like this was like a slow death. Like there was only, I don't want to say a small fraction, but like maybe like half a fan base that still thought that this was even feasible. You know what I mean? It's
I
not
think
like
all four of us, like up
Well, I
to
said-
like 2 weeks ago, we're still
Totally.
like,
Despite all the flaws, the division was so bad. It was still up for grabs. And like, okay, they have enough talent to overcome it, despite how poorly they're playing. Like it was. I mean,
I said I thought that Cleveland had peaked, and here's the thing. And I'm going to say this too, man. You got Terry Francona is a freaking manager, man. And you saw it last night. You saw it last night when the White Sox gave up that third run or that second or third run. Instead of just saying, we got these guys right where we want them, he turned up the volume. He didn't just go for the win. He went to knock the dignity, not just out of that clubhouse, but out of that stadium, out of every fan that was watching. He turned today into a negative Nelly day from start to finish for everybody even associated with the White Sox by moving runners, getting guys going. God, I mean, Moncada was staring at his shoelaces on that third, still in third last night. Wasn't even covering the back. Wasn't even paying attention. He's too busy feeling sorry for himself. And it actually almost burned him because they got back to 10-7. They could have been within a base hit from tying the game up if they're still playing, but they knocked what we always say in baseball terminology, they knocked their dicks in the dirt. And you kind of have to appreciate what Francona has been as a manager and what he's experienced as a world champion. He saw blood. He saw blood in the water, and he said, F it, let's go. Let's put these guys away. He didn't just kill the king. He killed the king in front of the court by beheading the king. And this is the group that said that, is there anybody else even going to be in this division this year besides the White Sox? He went in there at Guaranteed Rate Field and cut their head off. Oh, 6-1. There we go. Little Yohan Moncada. Hey-o.
Moncada is back.
That was impressive to me. That's about Francona that makes him perhaps maybe eventually down the line a Hall of Fame manager. I don't know.
oh, totally. I think he's the best. I think you can make a case that he's the best manager.
I'm not laughing at
in
you,
MLB right
Fitz.
now.
I'm not. You're right about Tito. He's gonna retire after this year anyway, so fuck him. But
there's your win for a cause. They just
I'm just laughing that Moncada just hit the biggest no-point home run after being responsible.
Well, that was like
for
the AJ
5
Pollock home
runs.
run last night after they gave up the 5 spot.
Cool.
Kevin,
Oh,
adding to like the Cleveland, like just stepping on the White Sox neck.
He did the bat drop too. What a
and then
douche.
11th inning.
Place, bro.
Did you guys see the bulletin board material that Elvis Andrews
Yeah.
gave Cleveland last week?
Yeah, and I was buying. I was buying. I
Like
bought
all
it.
credit to Elvis for what he's done with the White Sox, and as a veteran guy,
I bought
like
it.
I know you
but
have to have confidence in your team.
What do you
Oh,
say?
He said Cleveland's a young team. They're gonna fuck up.
They're gonna crumble. We know. He said he was like it was something like we know they're going to crumble because they keep seeing that we're hanging or that we're getting close.
He
to them.
preferenced it though. I mean, we need to. He said he goes. They are a young, inexperienced team. They haven't dealt with pressure like this before. They see us hanging around. They're gonna crumble.
They're going to crumble.
See, that's the thing is though, a veteran should know better that there's no such thing as context when it comes to bulletin board material.
Right.
And here's the thing is, unfortunately for Elvis Andrews, it's been so long for him in the last recent half decade where he's been on a team that even mattered that anything that you said. You don't have to get anybody beefed up to play some of the bad teams he's been playing on the last couple of years. I think he's just kind of forgotten. He was just being forthcoming and correct, though. You got to kind of watch your mouth a little bit because they're going to grab whatever they can grab. Like we've talked about before, baseball players will grab anything they can grab onto as inspiration. And that's something telling a young team that quiet down, child, please. That shit, that doesn't go well with a young team with talent. And a young team with talent's going to go and say, fuck you. I'm going to break you. Oh man. And that, unfortunately, and he's been so good like in everything that he's done. And I would never put any blame on him for that. But I think he just forgot.
It was just like
He got so candid that he forgot he's been in a place where now actually every word is going to get crunched and clipped if he's not careful, and he just kind of slipped out. But
you know what the White Sox need to do? I think their move this offseason should be hire whoever Cleveland's pitching development staff is, because they seem to pull out a pitcher every year, like out of their ass, out of nowhere. They just lose like 3 guys, and then
Cubs just did that. So too late.
Damn,
Cubs just did that. Yep.
They hired their assistant GM.
The White Sox should take the Guardians practice of only drafting people that are over 6'5".
Just tall
everyone on this team is just
trees.
ridiculously tall.
Draft trees. That's all.
I don't know if it's a baseball team. If I saw this team like getting off a bus, I'd be like, oh, who the Bulls playing? Like they're all like just tall dudes. McKenzie always looks like a kid getting yelled at in high school.
Yeah.
On the mound. Like he seriously has like that like pouting, like he just threw a absolute BB past Eloy Jimenez, and you would have thought like his mom just yelled at him or something. His body, oh my God, I'm just this fucking team.
But yeah, man, at this point, obviously, like you just have to like tip your hats to Cleveland, because against Terry
Absolutely.
Francona, great manager, the youngest team in baseball.
They're gonna get absolutely fucking mud
they kind
stomped
of
in
gave
the
you
first round of
like
the
the
playoffs.
fact,
But
yeah, the fact they finished second place last year, because I was thinking about that too. Like they had really no one last year either, and they traded a bunch of people at the deadline, and they still finished came in second place. So maybe this year they made a couple impactful additions, I guess, that no one really thought with Quan, and McKenzie really came out of his shell. Next thing you know, they're first. What a depressing time. Fucking Cleveland.
I'm sorry, I'm literally getting texts from family members asking if I'm okay.
Are you though?
I'm
I
fine.
texted my cousin George. I'm like, you okay?
I would I feel like the phrase, well, it's a business, is going to become awfully familiar in White Sox Twitter this offseason. Meaning there's going to be some hard moves made.
Do you think they're going to make those?
I don't think I think they need to. I don't think
Right.
there's a difference between what I think they're going to do and what I think they need to do.
So you're calling Jerry to give your weekly White Sox advice. What are your tough moves that you're making?
What's the first tough move?
Good question.
I'm trying to get that $15 million 200 at batting average at third base off my roster.
Oh wow! So are you hashtag done with Yo-Yo?
No, I just think that
Pretty close.
I mean, you just said you want him off your roster. How are you not done?
it's not done. I can root for him on other teams, but I just feel like for the money and for a team that's spent money just ridiculously, it's like someone that's never had a dollar before winning the multi-million-dollar scratch off, and they just go out and buy like a fucking Wave Runner encrusted in diamonds or some shit like that. You know what I mean? Like they just the dumbest spending I've ever seen.
By the way, I think it's up to 17.5 million.
Beefloaf tweeted out like,
oh yeah,
the White Sox, whatever, and it's infuriating to look at.
Their payroll.
Larry Garcia,
2023.
Diekman. It's just like you look at these numbers and you're like, this is just fucking dumb.
You have to. They're gonna have to buy out Pollock for $5 million.
Hopefully,
I mean,
arbitration for Cease.
I would push back on that being dumb though, because when they signed Moncada, everyone thought he was going to be a superstar. Like he had that 25. So Rick Hahn's MO is sign people early, cheap. So it would, if he turned out to be a superstar, 17.5 million looks like a great deal.
Right, and I guess I should have worded that better. I don't think the Moncada money's dumb, but I think it's money that can be moved. I think it needs to be moved because of other dumb money.
You know what?
I don't know how you're going to move it though. No one's going to take that. There's no.
Here's the thing too, is you kind of have to look at the overall, like, I mean, you've got the minor league player of the year for the White Sox. He ain't ready yet, but that's a third baseman for you too, but it ain't there yet. So do you feel like perhaps moving Moncada, finding a way to have someone take that salary, giving him a start? Maybe it would require maybe eating some salary, obviously from Jerry, which would probably never happen, but you can also, if you can find, I mean, honestly, you don't have to have mass production out of every single position. You need to have consistent production. And, having players like a locker room presence guys, like I would say like a Ben Zobrist. I know I hate to use Cubs examples, but having people like that can kind of play around the diamond a little bit, but really guys that are older veterans that are not going to be a problem in the locker room, that in fact bring a good positive juju and energy. You free up some salary there. You rob Peter to pay Paul a little bit. And you kind of clear up. There are some good options on the left side of the infield this offseason even. I mean, and at second base, if you want to pay a little bit more, maybe you can get Trey Turner, or Turner to move, shift over to second. But
I'm still on the fence on what to do with Giolito. I'm trading Gavin Sheets. Before I do any of this, though, I'm Rick Hahn by.
Yeah,
Kenny Williams, you got to go.
Rick Hahn goes.
Do
you think someone that comes in now is going to blow this shit up because it's their thing? Like, how does that work? Like, I don't know.
See, somebody made a point today. It's kind of stuck with me all day today as I was thinking about this. Rick Hahn has done a really good job of making Jerry Reinsdorf a fuck ton of money.
Yep.
When you think about it from that angle, the whole Rick Hahn is automatically gone narrative that fans have because they just see this shit product on the field.
Oh, really? Wait, do Sox fans actually think that?
I don't.
Yes.
Have they not been Sox fans?
I think LaRusse is going to be gone. I'm still skeptical he's going to leave. I don't think Rick Hahn's going anywhere.
Rick Hahn is not getting fired. I am sorry, White Sox fans. Rick Hahn is not getting fired. Let's
do some odds. All right, odds that Rick Hahn gets fired, and odds that I'm just going to say Tony La Russa doesn't come back because it could be. There's so many different ways that he could not come back right now.
I don't think Tony La Russa.
Odds for Hahn, and then odds for La Russa coming back.
La Russa, they get like 3 to 1. We'll go 3 to 1 just to give the house some cushion, but 3 to 1.
Yeah,
I put it like La Russa 1-2 coming back. He's not
right. I mean, he's not coming back.
He's not coming. Rick Hahn is not getting fired. I'm sorry, White Sox fans who believe this. He's been with the organization for like more than a decade. He's been the GM for more than a decade. He hasn't won shit as the GM.
He makes Jerry money. He knows how to make Jerry money.
I mean, Kenny Williams, but he's still in the organization too. He never even got. They just shuffled him around, and people think they're going to fire Rick Hahn. No.
Say this though. Aloha Pete has been banging this drum for probably a year now. They need to legitimately, however it happens, when they fire everybody, they need to bring in 0 people that have a relationship with the White Sox organization. It needs to be 100% from the outside, just the same way that the Cubs brought in somebody that wasn't a part of the Cubs system. They were not all these like former players. And I'll get the fuck with the stupid former players bullshit. Move on. Find some new voices because 100+ years of this crap and having minimal success, it's time to go outside of you're banging your head against the wall too often. Go outside of the franchise. Go get somebody that brings in a brand new whole philosophy throughout the entire organization. Not just, Theo came in with what is it? What was his That's So Cub or what? No, not That's So Cub, but what is it? It was the Cubby way. I think it was the Cubby way. I don't know. He's got some weird catchphrase. He came in hit like Eberflus, but whatever. He came in and he's like, look, we're going to start from the bottom up and we're going to build this franchise in that manner. And I hate to say this, and this is the byproduct of having such great talent that the White Sox have had. And I think I've said it on here before. A lot of these guys for the last 2-3 years of their baseball careers haven't been working to win. They've been working to get their reps in so they can get up to the show and start helping the big league club. They haven't played competitive baseball. They haven't played in championship races. They haven't been, and that's what I love about what's going on with the Cubs right now. I think last night there were 2 Cubs farm system teams in a playoff game last night, if not more. And these guys are playing meaningful baseball right now, and they're learning how to play competitive. And now this is when all the gloves come off because now they get to play to win. Because now it's not about getting called up; it's just win the fucking game. And you're seeing Canary hit 3 jacks last night. Pete Armstrong hits a homer for South Bend. These guys are winning games in competitive baseball, and I think that guys like Luis Robert, Eloy, they came up so fast that they were just getting their reps in to get ready to be up with the big league club instead of, hey, let's compete down here and play some baseball. It was, you got your 3 at bats, go grab a seat. You're done for the day. Excellent. Go get your running in, and we'll see. You're going to be in the show in a year or 2. Relax.
Learning how to win is a huge thing that people overlook. The one winning team in Chicago right now, the Chicago Wolves, that's like their whole thing Wendell Young has. He's like, we're always trying to field competitive teams because whoever our NHL organization is, that helps. Like the St. Louis Blues, when they won the Stanley Cup, over a third of that roster used to play with the Chicago Wolves in Calder Cup finals and all these playoff teams because, like you said, they always tried to field competitive teams in the minor leagues and teach the guys how to win early.
Golden Knights too. Yeah.
And they were very good. Once all the team, Hurricanes are a playoff team right now. That's their affiliate. Like it works with baseball too. It translates over. You got to teach these guys how to win.
Winning's a
Speaking
mindset.
of which,
Winning's a mindset. Being out there to play and to win is a mindset. Like if you have a loser mentality or just a I'm detached mentality, you're not going to be able to show up in these types of crunch time moments. You're going to actually the stage will and the lights will be brighter and bigger than you ever imagined because you're so used to doing meaningless. It's not passionless. I wouldn't say that, but they're not telling you to go out there and hustle. They're telling you to go out and get your ABs in and then go grab a shower and get loose and stay healthy and develop. And instead of just let's develop both the winning mentality and your ability.
so speaking of which, Oscar Colas got called up to AAA. He had a hit last night and 2 hits tonight.
He'll be up by next year.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
I'm
It's
thinking
like
that's
they
definitely-
did that with Eloy too, like late season call up. He'll
Yep.
spend like the first month or whatever in the minors.
Another reason why I think Sheets will get traded.
And
It
so
makes
you
sense.
said it
No,
earlier. It's unfortunate that we have to have the conversation, 2 separate conversations of what needs to happen and then what you expect the team to happen. Because
Right.
again, after this like gigantic of a failure, which it is, again, we're talking about
Huge failure.
a team who was the big time favorite to win the division, like top 2-3 World Series favorites entering the year, and they're not even going to make the playoffs.
Luis Robert was never on the Cubs.
Yeah, I think I don't know who that is. Probably thinking of Eloy, but
Oh, he said Eloy and Luis Robert.
I was gonna say
Not Eloy and Cease.
Ooh, do we
this
get another home run?
goes-
Oh, foul ball.
no.
Well.
Almost. And this just
yeah.
goes back to like the Bulls thing with the White Sox. How we every single year we knew what needed to happen with the Bulls, but you expect them to not do the correct thing until they finally did. So you can't.
Yep.
It's the same thing with the White Sox. You know what they need to do, but you're not going to expect it until they do it. Do I think it's going to happen this offseason? No, because the history tells you that Jerry just loves his fucking guys,
And I
will
mean,
just
keep in mind,
keep them around.
as a White Sox fan, I don't understand what, besides just like blind hope, gives you the idea that it will change. You got to keep in mind, last offseason going into this all or nothing season that the Sox supposedly were going to, they gave money to fucking Larry Garcia. That was the only position player they paid. They
Big
came up
Daniel
to a trade
Descalso
deadline.
vibes.
Trade deadline in which there was massive glaring needs and a very frustrating failure of a first half of a season. Nothing.
The same needs that you
2 years
didn't
in a row.
address in the offseason.
2 years
Did
in a row.
nothing. Did nothing.
2 years in a row.
No, they
No.
made moves. They just didn't pay out.
They traded for Kimbrel. That's true. They traded.
And they
I
had
hope
Cesar Hernandez.
I do hope that Tim Anderson comes back soon just to, get some
Do you
end of
though?
the season reps. I do, and here's why. I want to see what Elvis Andrews looks like at second
At
base.
second?
Yeah.
I think some team is going to get tricked by this 6-week mirage by Elvis Andrews.
Could be.
I think that's a good point because he's on a heater. He's not this
Is he
guy.
like 35 years old?
Yeah, he is up there.
And he's literally on like one of the best hitting stretches he's ever had in his career.
Literally. Yeah.
He's been out with the White
Man,
Sox. You cannot expect.
But he has been fun to watch lately. The stealing of the bases, taking an extra base. He's just see.
Oh,
The
he's been
Sox,
excellent. That's
Sox need like 4 or 5 of him on a team to be
Yeah.
competitive. They need gamers, dude.
I wouldn't even be opposed to bringing him back just because he's a solid fielder and he's smart and he brings
Like
lots
Elvis
of clubhouse.
Andrews is what Larry Garcia is supposed to be. But
By the way, Elvis,
they already paid Larry Garcia the
That's
money.
fair. I think that's actually a very fair sentence.
you keep him, and then you make that trade with Moncada. I think a guy like Andrews would be a fine third baseman.
They would need to do it early though, so he has an off season. Like, look, this is where you're gonna play.
Yeah.
You gotta learn it.
Sure.
Because
Oh.
like you throw it in a late, I mean that's gonna be tough, especially if you expect him to hit like he is, learning a new position on top of it. He's
He's
hard.
earned himself. He's earned himself some respect around the league, though. Too. He's going to actually probably his salary demands are going to actually probably elevate just based on he's been
That's what I'm
fantastic.
saying. Some teams are going to get tricked by this.
Yeah.
Although
Yeah.
you're
Good
better,
for Elvis Andrews.
Yeah.
although you're better with
I don't-
contracts than I am. What can the White Sox do with Grandal?
Trot him out.
Ho-
one more
Hope
season.
he retires.
That's
Pulling
it.
Adam LaRoche.
I mean, that's pretty much where we're at with it. That's
Frame
it.
him.
No
for
one's going to
crime.
go after him, man.
Oh, I know, but it's either cut ties and eat it, or
Yeah,
Jeff
I mean,
Galooly?
it's all
Is Jeff
guaranteed
Galooly
money.
around?
Because I
Might be
mean,
able to get the list.
Sebi had himself a game on Tuesday, and Sebi's had himself a second half of the season.
Seb, I did.
then they got
Okay,
this-
you know
they
what?
got this
Pinwheel's
other
buff.
kid.
Did I not? I was riding the Seb Zavala hype train, and he's been a stud. Just saying. But
Yeah, and
Hashtag
then
Mitch was
I can't think of the
first
kid's
time
name.
for everything.
I can't think of the kid's name. He's in AAA right now. They brought him up for a cup of coffee, and then they sent him right back down. Yeah,
I
can't
know who
remember
you're
either.
talking about.
But you know him, yeah, catcher, supposedly pretty good.
Perez, I think his name was
Something like that. Yeah, he's Latina, but
Carlos Perez.
Carlos,
Him.
that
Over
sounds
the ma-
familiar.
I
But
wrote
I'm-
like 2 articles about him too. I should know this. Hold on.
right. But what I'm saying is though, if you can get that money off your books, you got 2 very cost efficient,
No,
workable options.
I mean, I
know.
wouldn't be opposed to having Grandal just you keep him on the roster. I think the knee thing bothered him a lot, which has clearly affected his power. He gets an off season, get healthy. It cannot be as bad as it was this year. Now maybe you cut back his reps at catcher, but like I would not
That's
be
the best
opposed
case
to
scenario.
trotting him back out there and split time and see if we can get his power back.
But that's a really expensive
But
DH
you-
platoon between
I was
him and
gonna say,
Eloy.
I'd rather be paying him to be a DH platoon than paying him to be on someone else's team or sitting on his couch.
Let's be honest though, you're really not hitting him over Eloy 75% of the time. That's insane. Like, so you're paying this guy for 25% work, basically.
I mean
Yeah.
that money's dead, guys.
Yeah,
Yeah.
At this point,
it is.
it's what
that
Mitch
money.
said.
Yeah.
I
Hopefully-
do.
Burn
hopefully
it.
his knee is
Gone.
healthy again, and he can come back and be okay.
I still, to the day I die, will say that was a good signing at the time.
It was. It was.
It worked
It
out.
is,
It is.
yeah. Like last year, I thought he was very good. Like his August and September last season was one of the reasons the White Sox, like, it propelled the White Sox that second half of the season. That's when he came back. He had 24 home runs. And he only played like a third of the game.
If you thought that was a bad signing at the time, I need to see the tweets. I need to see the consistency. Tell me that you were critical of that pickup when it happened, because when it happened, feels like it was like the massive W for the White Sox.
Yeah,
It was
he
like
the
a
best available free agent.
Yeah.
It was a huge
catch in
deal.
the game. And here's the thing too, he might have hurt himself early on in the season. And this is the shitty part for being a catcher. And this is the shitty part about the extended season of a baseball season in general, which is what happens sometime, for these guys. You get banged up early, you spend the rest of the season chasing the dragon, trying to get healthy. And there's just no way to get right until you get months off. It takes months to heal sometimes on some of these injuries. And unfortunately for him, it looks like he got himself pretty banged up early. And as a result, he's been chasing the dragon ever since. And when you're trying to fix your injury and you're trying to get your body to work, everything else is not in sync, whether it's your bat, whether it's your hand-eye coordination, whether it's your ability to... He hasn't been a very good defensive catcher. He's got some dumb shit that he's done behind the dish. And all of this injury stuff has led to him trying to he's spending more of his energy and his mental focus on just being somewhat salvageable, that once he gets to the offseason, he could very well come back next year and have a massive comeback year. That's not out of line.
And people forget too, it's not like good hitting catchers grow on trees. There's not a whole lot of them out there. So it's easy to say dump them, but who are you going to get that's like an actual significant upgrade from him besides Seb, of
No, I'm
course.
just saying,
But like,
Sebi
other than
and
that,
and you give this Perez kid a go, and you save a ton of money there, and you go and
but what?
Well, that's the thing. You're not going to
it's
save
dead
the
money,
money.
though. No, it's dead money.
Yeah,
I
you're not
understand
going to
that.
save the money.
I would rather just roll the dice one more
They're not gonna
time.
have a choice.
Hey, do you guys remember when a catcher, so long as they were very good defensively, it didn't matter if they hit fucking 180?
Yes.
New age. New
So
age.
it's time to kind of maybe take the pressure off some of these. If you want good defense behind the dish, you're going to have to sacrifice at least. They're not as bad as pitchers, but if you want good defensive catchers, they might be the new pitchers. Basically, when it comes to the offensive, now people are probably DHing for catchers now. The DH age.
Speaking of which, you guys as Cub fans need to tell Buster Posey to chill out.
Buster Olney?
Chill
About
out,
the
Buster
Cardinals talk?
Posey,
Yeah.
no, Buster Posey.
Oh, what's he saying?
He's about to get a share of Giants ownership, and he said he's coming in fucking doors blazing. He's talking about all the free agents you guys want coming to the Giants.
Buster Posey is going to be a part owner of the Giants?
They're talking about, yeah, bro.
No
they're putting
wonder
him
he
in-
retired early.
They're putting him in the front office, bro. He said he's coming in guns blazing. He's like, I'm talking to Aaron Judge. I'm talking to fucking this guy. I got all these guys on the line. These are all my
As well, he
boys. I
should.
played with all of them.
Somebody plows him over though right before he goes to talk to somebody.
And he's
for
just
blocking
gonna,
the plate.
Yep. And he's just gonna be like, yeah. I mean, the Giants actually manage their cap smartly and have a lot of money to spend. And Posey said he's coming in there and he's like, I'm working the Rolodex all day, baby. We're gonna land 1 or 2 big ass free agents.
I can see. I mean, Aaron Judge. They're gonna offer like Aaron Judge. I can see that going to the Giants.
Not to derail this entire but I'm sick of talking about the White Sox for a second. I need a breath of air. Aaron Judge is the MVP, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
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 Okay.
Yeah,
All right. I just wanted.
Do you think it's not getting enough media attention, the fact that he's hit 60 home runs? Because I heard a good point. Like some people are like saying like this should be getting a lot more attention than it is. Then there's other, and I think I'm more in this camp now because I'll be honest, I don't really care about it as much as I should. The last 2 like home run chases have been like tainted, so no one really gives a crap anymore.
I mean, I do. I don't give a shit. But here's the thing with Judge is what he's doing right now is it's pretty easy to write everything off saying, oh well, these Barry Bonds did it and these steroids and it's bad. But let's be honest. I mean, again, Eric Judge is a huge dude, and you know, I'm just gonna say this as someone that I don't want to say this.
Uh-oh.
Say this the wrong way.
Breaking news. We have breaking news on the Pinwheels and Ivy podcast.
I still don't think that Peds are gone from baseball at any level.
The banner here.
But
Aaron Judge
I will say this: Aaron Judge is built.
He's got to piss in a cup every 2 weeks.
Yeah. Well, do you think that everything is technically?
I know.
So that's the thing is, it's just weird. Everyone is always finding it, but I'm saying this: Aaron Judge is a freak.
Mm-hmm.
You don't grow that big, you don't get that strong, and what he's doing is absolutely exceptional. I just don't, it's the best individual season. Again, he could win the Triple Crown. I mean, he could win the Triple Crown.
It's much more than just
it's
a home run season. Like
he's like first in every single.
In a contract year too. He turned out a big extension, and he's like, yeah, you know what? I'm going to bet on myself, and he's going out and going to break the home run record.
Here's my question: now you can take away the steroid argument. Now, if we just go on a whatever, take away the steroid. How many times has Aaron Judge been intentionally walked this year compared to the year that Barry Bonds hit the incredible amount of home runs that he hit that year? He had 100+ at bats, plate appearances where he never saw a single pitch to hit because it was an intentional walk, and he hit what was it? 7? I always forget. 70 was it 72?
73.
No, 73. So that's insane, but. This is the big thing that everyone's doing right now. And again, you can say Mark McGuire's on the juice and Sammy's on the juice and using cork bats, blah, 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 blah. But in the end, he's breaking an American League record. So this is history, period. No matter what, this is history. It's the Yankees. So it's even bigger because it's the Yankees. But I'm more impressed with the fact that his other facets of his game, how well they've been. And that's what really, I think, puts him over. I mean, the fact that, Ohtani can pitch and hit, incredible. It's amazing. But Judge, he's checking a lot more of the boxes than just a slugger. And I think that that's actually important. He gets on base, too. Like, he's not, it's just, it's impressive, man. And
you play MLB The Show this year, Fids?
I did for a little bit, and then.
Because that's what they say every time Aaron Judge comes up to bat. And it's annoying as shit.
I still have only the show 20.
Son of a bitch.
The video game, they say every time, they're like, he's not just a power hitter, he also hits for average, which makes
they need to put more
blah,
than
blah,
2 lines for each player because
Yes.
it just gets repetitive every single time. And what Mitch said, about caring about it or paying more attention to it, there is a section of baseball writers who have made it he's going to be the real home run king. That's really put me off.
Mhm.
It's it's Barry Bonds, guys. You might have been juicing, but guys, that was fucking baseball. Sorry.
Yep.
Steroids don't hit a baseball. I'm sorry.
Couple
That's
things about
kind
that.
of put me off on
Yep.
everyone being
One-
Aaron Judge is going to be the real home run king.
One,
shut the
all the pitchers in that era, juicing out of their minds
Yeah.
too. Two, I don't care how many roids you take, that hand-eye coordination to hit a fucking ball breaking 65 degrees downward at fucking 96 miles an hour and put it fucking 400 feet the opposite direction.
By the way, this is coming.
Aaron Judge is doing this in an era where Major League Baseball is openly campaigning against pitchers by changing the baseballs, taking away the sticky stuff. Pitchers are at the least advantage they've ever been. Yes, they're more talented, sure, but they have been chipped away. And Aaron Judge is doing this against the most restrictive environment for pitchers in the game's history.
I was actually going to go the other way. Aaron Judge is doing this in the new era where MLB changed the balls again.
the balls are in humidifiers.
Like
getting fucking
home runs
shiatsu
are
massages
way down this
before
year.
games.
Like what I'm saying, that but they're doing it. Well, yeah, and he's doing it in an era where they're literally dumbing the game. They're killing it down for pitchers. They're
By the
making it
way,
harder for pitchers.
Uh,
It's hitter friendly era. So good job. You're hitting it in an era where they're actually trying to make things harder for the pitchers when it comes to their substances and how
And
they.
to friend of the show, Healy Six's point, the Giants definitely need pitching. So Buster needs to.
trade for Lucas Giolito. Look at the rosters, though. Who can you get from the Giants?
I just had their prospects up. Fuck, I just closed it.
I wanted to
Okay.
ask. I want to
Just
ask
throw
Kevin
a
and you
dart.
guys too. So, if the Cubs are actually gonna, it appears as though again they're gonna have some interest in some of the big free agents.
Mhm.
We've all been focusing on the 4 shortstops.
Uh-huh.
However,
I know where you're
Aaron Judge is obviously going to be a free agent. Would you rather go after Judge
Oh my
or one of
God.
the shortstops?
I'd rather go after Judge and Rodon if he opts out, and
No,
call
he's
it a day, and we'll be happy. We can
Are
move.
are we getting back into what you think they should do versus what they'll actually do? Or
Oh, you mean
think the
spend?
Cubs will actually?
Well, that's the thing. It's like in the middle now because again, I'm not in the front office. I don't know the conversations, but from the early reports, from the rumors, they're supposedly interested in at least one of the top free agents,
They-
shortstops.
Yeah,
I think they're going to spend. It's just
At this
not
point-
going to be as much as people want. Like it's gonna like they will spend some money. They can't not get some sort of free agent. It's just not going to be near the amount that
Yes.
Cubs fans think. They're not
Um,
getting Aaron
guys,
Judge.
we're hearing the same exact shit out of the Cubs front office and their leaks and their water carriers that we heard exactly 365 days ago. Right now,
guys,
we're in
guys,
on Carlos Correa.
remember when the White Sox
were,
said
though.
the money will be?
I know we
spent,
make fun of
and
them,
then
but they were.
They were never in.
The
They
money
were
will
never.
I
be
mean,
spent. Larry
yeah,
Garcia,
and-
3-year deal.
Yeah.
And we're waiting. I didn't hear that.
I'm not frozen.
Exactly.
Oh,
No, I said it seems like the White Sox, when technically they're not wrong, the money will be spent, and they spent the money. It was just a 3-year deal for Larry Garcia and a bunch of bumfuck
That's right.
relievers.
Well, the good news is that after this year, you're gonna have to revamp the bullpen again.
yeah. That's good.
Yeah, that's gonna go over
To look forward to.
swimmingly with the fan base.
Ugh. Really
Yeah.
quick, before we get too far away from the Aaron Judge thing, I just want to point this out. You Cub fans are not going to like it, but I would argue that I think I'm following Albert Pujols chase to 700 closer than I am Aaron Judge.
Yes,
Like
I agree.
people don't realize how hard it is to hit 700 home runs. If you hit 25 a season, which is a lot, like 25 home runs, decent amount of home runs a season, for 28 years was how many years it would take you to get to 700 home runs. Like that is incredible. The fact he's so close.
Yep.
Sorry, I just had to get that out there.
No.
No, I agree with you, Mitch, because I think it's only like what 5 guys who have more than 700.
Yeah.
And I don't want it to go.
60 home runs has been done like close to 10 times now.
And I also want to say
I want to go
that
back to that conversation we had on here about. I want to find. We need to find that and clip it and see what we remember when we talked about. Like, what do you think? Will he or will he not get to 700? I think it was just like. Was this last year even that we were doing? We had that debate. It might have been a year
pretty
ago.
sure I
We're like,
said yeah, but
Yeah, it was last year.
remember
Healy,
that.
if you go,
Yeah,
please
remember
make
what that
sure. Please make sure that one bald turd guy doesn't get the ball if Albert does it while you're in Milwaukee.
Yeah, elbows
I
up,
will-
elbows
Oh,
up.
yeah.
I will
Keep going.
I will drive to Milwaukee, Healy, and bail you out of jail if you need to. But do
Oh
not
wait,
let that
speaking
guy get the
of
ball.
another Aaron Judge thing,
I'm glad you went this direction.
there's no way you're just giving him the ball for a couple autographs, right?
Yeah, yes, you are.
Bro, That's 50
I-
grand minimum, man.
Dude,
I mean,
it's like
no, I actually think what those-
100,000.
no, what those guys did is the right thing. They're just a couple of schmucks who happen to be lucky enough for the ball to land in their lap. Like, it's his accomplishment. You give him the ball back. You get your photo. I think they did the right thing. I hate all these people that are like, oh, no, I'm
But here's
holding
the
out
thing,
all the
Mitch.
money. It's like,
Here's the thing,
well-
Mitch. They did it because they're diehard Yankees fans. They said he's done so much for the organization. Aaron Judge has been ready to leave New York for like a year. He doesn't give a shit about you.
So I
You
guess
know what?
As
You know
those
his
Yankees
accomplishment, I'm giving him the ball back. I mean, you don't want to be like that Zach Hampel guy that's like holding the
Bro.
ball hostage from A-Rod. Like, you just
Bro.
look like a douche. And like, or you'll
Bro.
be like with that jackass in Houston where they covered him for like 45 minutes. Oh, what's he going to get in his negotiation? Like,
that
who
was
gives
the
a crap?
worst. That was
Hey,
the worst.
Mitchell,
It's
Mitchell,
his accomplishment. Give him his ball. They'll give you an autograph or something in return. Like, you know, they got
I
a
don't know,
photo.
man.
I think they got
I'm
a
gonna be
good trade
honest.
out of it. And they look
I'm
like
gonna
good
be
dudes.
I'm gonna be honest here, and it's totally indicative of my character. If Chris Bryant hit the home run that broke the home run record. I'm gonna tell Chris, buy me a fucking house, motherfucker. I'm not
I was
giving
gonna
you
say minimum. Like, hey man, I can pay
I'm
off
not
my
here.
house with this.
Yeah. Come on.
So
I don't
here's
kids
what
I
I'm
don't
gonna
get
do.
my life
This is
for
what
it.
I would
Age
do.
thing.
This is what I would
You
do.
get
This is
the
what I would do. So first of all, Mitch, to your point, there's the right thing to do, and then there's the smart
have
thing to do. This kid did the right thing, but he looks like a complete dumbass. But
You did a thing.
what I would have done, and you said that the ball just landed in his lap. It's no different than just buying a piece of paper that has the right random numbers on it. It's the same fucking thing.
Or a helicopter ball drop.
So the ball drops. So I have this ball. I tell the Yankees I want to talk to Aaron Judge about this ball. I go see Aaron Judge. I say, hey, bro, here's what we're gonna do. You give me some signed balls, signed jersey. We'll take a picture. Great for the photo. You're not touching this ball unless you transfer me fucking $100K right now.
And
Nobody will need to know about it.
another
No
20
press, no media, no nothing. We can make this get ugly. I'll get ugly with this bitch, bro. I'm talking about my fucking student loans. My kids going to school. I'm talking. This is winning the lotto, bro. This is catching lightning.
Did
in
they
a
really
bottle.
want the ball that bad? Then I feel like he'd just be like, "Go fuck yourself."
I've
Yeah,
heard-
you're not
I
getting
think
your
I heard this.
autograph. I'm, wait till I hit 63 this year. That ball will be
And I
worth
would
even
tell him,
more.
and I would say,
It's
I
like
said, all
Caddyshack.
right, well, it's okay. You can just get your 60 home run ball next year.
I've
and
heard
that's
this
the
from,
Caddyshack. Yeah, no, I ain't paying no dollar for no coke. Then you don't get no coke.
That's fine.
I've heard this from the Barstool Chicago guys, and it was like, I mean, if you really love the Yankees, be like, hey, I'll give you the ball after you re-sign with us.
Ooh.
There you go. That's
That would be now he's a hero.
Yep.
Now,
You
yeah,
know, he
now
went
it's
from,
like,
like-
hey, all right, I'm
He
not asking
went
for
from-
money, but come back.
He went from nice guy to dumbass to like hero. You know what I mean? Like
Never have to pay for dinner ever again in New York. Ever.
you're an absolute legend if he pulls that off.
All right, Mitch, new scenario though. Let's say Judge goes crazy because I mean this was the 60 home run ball, but let's say it's number 74. Are you still just giving it to him?
I'm just gonna hand it over.
He
Well-
becomes the home
Ooh.
run king for a single season. Are you
60
just like, all right,
years.
here you go.
Well, since I'm not a Yankees fan in this scenario, then maybe I would try and milk some more out of it. But if it was like Jose Abreu, I'd be like, thank you for all you've done. This is your accomplishment. You know, maybe float me, maybe some season tickets next year, maybe, and then you
Dude, minimum lifetime.
Cocaine's a hell of a drug.
Minimum lifetime.
Yeah, minimum lifetime.
Minimum lifetime.
I don't know if I could tolerate a lifetime of solid. I went to like 20 this year, and I've had it was bad for my mental health.
Well, no, here, bro. Minimum lifetime, and you have to make them transferable so I can sell half of them.
There you go. There you go.
Now we're cooking.
Your
Now
family,
we're
like-
working.
You've got an heir to season tickets for like lifetimes, as long as they're in Chicago. They don't move to like
Judge walked and they pitch ran for him in a 14-2 game.
Oh,
That's not what the fans want to see. But
that's kind of cowardly.
in Healy's case, friend of our show, Healy there, if I drove up to Milwaukee to watch Pujols and he hits number 700, I'd catch it. I don't know why, but I feel like I'd have a different attitude towards getting
I'm putting that
the
shit in
ball
my
back.
prison wallet. That's going right in my prison
Oh yeah,
wallet.
no. If like Healy as a Cubs fan, like just like us, Kevin, and
Just
it's
gonna
the
come out with
Pujols 700. I am keeping that for as much as I can get.
It's going right in the prison wallet on the way out of the ballpark. No one's fucking with me. It's coming out with doo doo. It's done.
I'm like,
We're done.
Albert, great career, man. Great accomplishment. I got to
Mhm.
get paid too.
Albert,
Yeah,
you've given me enough torture. This is in lieu of me suing you for mental and emotional damages.
Like,
For
hey,
everything you've
hey,
done
I
since
mean,
you've been here.
you're wearing the
20
Just Fields jersey. Like, I put in so much hard work being a Cubs fan all these years. I've been hurt so much by you. I
It hurts
also
Also-
get
for
paid
you.
too.
It hurts worse for you than the players, obviously.
Yeah.
Obviously.
I think
although
I
it
just had a
hurts for you.
genius idea. If I was you, Healy, and I was
Great.
going to a game in which Pujols could possibly hit number 700, I would go over to my son's toy chest over there and I'd get one of his T-ball balls, like the soft, like whatever instructional balls. I bring it in my pocket to the
Ooh.
game. So when the ball's coming in the general facility, I take it, throw it, distraction ball, let the idiots fight over that. I take 700 under the shirt. I'm out the door. Did you see
Four.
Mickey Mantle's baseball card just sold for $15 million? Bro,
That's
4D
a lot of
chess,
coordination
bro.
there, so.
4D chess. That's
all
4D.
it is just bringing a baseball in your pocket. But you have to make sure it's like not like a Like it has to be like a completely like super fake ball, which would make it even funnier if someone's like they fight for it for like an hour, like I got it, and you're like push in with your thumb, dumbass, and he pushes it in. Moves
They
it.
go to
He's like,
trade. They're like, "This is the guy that caught it." They're like looking at it, like, "Wait a second, you're not
This is
getting the bat after
this
all."
is an instructional pull. I don't know why this scenario is so funny to me. but
Have
it's
I told
fucking
you?
hilarious.
Have I told you I was at in San Diego when Barry Bonds tied Hank Aaron?
Oh my god!
When he hit
Did you have a distraction ball with you?
No, but I'm telling you right now, everybody in the ballpark, and we were in the left field like concourse kind of area, so we were not in the bleachers, but we were near it was the left field bleachers, so there's no way he's going to pull the ball towards us, right? But everybody that was in that area, it felt like you could see they would have like lumps in their pocket. Everyone had fucking decoy balls, not the decoy balls that you're thinking of, like the kind where they're like, trade you out, yeah, sure, take that. I'm going to keep the real one. Like they were fucking like it was.
Oh man!
And then of course when he hit the home run, there was like 70 dudes out on the concourse where it's private calling their dads, crying. Like it was actually.
I'm literally in tears laughing at this scenario of some dude fighting for a baseball in like a Royal Rumble, like, and you got to imagine it's gonna be in like. People are going to be like biting and it's going to be like an NFL scrum, and people are going to be like gougy eyeballs and shit. This dude comes out thinking his life is set, and he just pushes his thumb in. And it's
do you guys want me to tell you what happened, or just keep the fun times going?
Hey,
you know what? Turn off the games out. Turn off the games out. Turn off the
Naylor.
Naylor in the coffin.
Fun fact about home run balls: the Kirk Gibson home
I'm
run.
just going to go ahead and say it because Josh Naylor just looks like a guy that smells.
Yeah,
he just looks like he smells. He just looks like he smells, and he looks like he gives the sweatiest handshakes at all times.
He looks like he sits on his couch with a dip in, spitting into a plastic cup that then he puts in the dishwasher and then uses as something he drinks out of later.
I am literally going to dance on Cleveland's grave when they get fucking mud stomped in the first round of the playoffs.
Clip that.
Go ahead, please clip it, because Naylor just did the bye to White Sox fans as he crossed home plate.
Yeah. Oh, did he really?
Yeah.
They're fucking teabagging now.
I
it's deserved though. All this shit talk the Sox have done.
They were a nobody for the entire offseason into the season, and now they've been told that they are a nobody, and now they are.
It's just Naylor. It's not it's not Cleveland as a team. It's Naylor. He's the only one. He's the AJ Przinsky.
Yeah, he's the AJ of the Cleveland. All right, Mitch,
he's like headbutting dudes too. It's like,
yeah. But again, to review, he looks like he smells and gives sweaty handshakes. But anyways, what were you saying about Kirk Gibson's home run ball?
So the Kirk Gibson home run, probably the most valuable home run ball in Los Angeles history. Arguably like the greatest sports moment in Los Angeles history. Nobody knows where that home run ball went. They could never find it. They were looking at the tape to try and find like who caught the ball. They could never confirm who has the ball. So to this day, no one knows what that ball is.
When specifically was My Sox Summer on the West Coast again? When did he live on the West Coast? My Sox Summer?
Why would you keep that a secret though?
I don't know. That's the thing. Like, and so that they were going through like
how do you verify it? Carbon dating? Like, how do you verify that that's the real ball this far along now?
Or
you can't. No, like no, it's just no one's gonna know where it is.
Or the guy did exactly what I said I would do with Aaron Judge, and he went and made a backdoor deal with Kurt and was like, "Yeah, dude, I'll give you this ball back. Give me 50 G's or whatever year it was."
I want to know how
to 50 G's, and was like, "Yeah, here it is. No one needs to know. Story's over." Kurt's probably got it in a fucking case on his mantle.
Dan, I'm not making fun of you. I just have to know how this looks on our podcast. Okay, that's huge. That's a large comment.
Hold on, I was reading.
Read it out loud. Read it out loud. From Dan on Facebook.
I'll do a dramatic reading. Yep. It was over last night. They know it. We know it. It really never got started, though, did it? I appreciate the good punctuation, Dan. They just couldn't stand to be over 500 at any point until the last 2 weeks or so. I think La Russa was a big problem and tons of injuries. If Jimenez and Roberts can stay healthy and we magically get a decent bullpen, we can win the whole thing. But that bullpen is solely responsible for more losses than any other player or group on this team. He's not wrong.
A lot of right things.
And nothing in, sir, nothing in your rambling. Nothing's wrong there. I mean, the La Russa stuff's opinion.
Part of that is the starters own a little responsibility. They don't go deep into games. There's like outside Johnny Cueto, people do not go they don't go deep into games. And that bullpen got worn pretty thin early in the season.
And also, if the White Sox don't publicly fire the entire training staff, I will call this offseason a disappointment.
They already fired the training staff, though. Like,
yeah, did they? Don't they have that lawsuit that was
Do it
like
again.
it was discriminatory?
That's Michigan State.
No,
Oh,
it's White Sox.
No, 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 no.
Yeah.
The White Sox are getting
Yeah.
sued because
The guy-
Although
guys,
at some point,
No, the guy's a homosexual. He said he was treated unfairly because of it.
yeah.
Mhm.
but even before that, didn't they? I think they just
No.
revamped the training staff too recently. I don't know. At some point, these guys got to do some work during the offseason. Like Scott Pasednik was on a podcast, was saying the same thing. Like his best season when he was getting old is when he hired a personal trainer on his own, and then came back in the best shape of his life. And we heard that a lot with it. Carlos Rodon, perfect example. Guy that always got hurt, and he was the first one to admit, like after he had that breakout year last year, he's like, yeah, like I took my offseason a lot more seriously than I have in years past. And what do you know? His body didn't break down as quickly as it usually does. So I think at some point, like these Yohan Moncada of the world, you better start doing some more stuff over the offseason.
I do anticipate a lot of ricochet shots, meaning a lot of people just getting fired, so the White Sox will be like, "Look at we're firing people." Like Frank Manichi's gone.
Yeah.
Probably someone else that has to do with hitting gone. For some reason, I still feel like Ethan Katz is safe.
Yeah.
No, he is.
LaRusse is not coming back.
They'll move McEwing back to a different coaching position. 'cause they've done
McEwing's going to become like a bullpen catcher or some shit like that.
Boston will move over to third.
No, they'll keep Daryl Boston because I've read so many interviews over the course of the season about how they all love Debo.
Ugh.
I love Debo. I like Debo.
Which
Debo's
is
funny.
fine. There's been some egregious base running at first base this
They
season.
steal a lot of bases though. Or no, they don't get caught stealing bases. That's
Yeah, because they don't.
You know
do
what's
it
funny?
ever.
I remember one of the last Sox Fest I was at. NBC Sports had some stupid thing where they like pick some random contestant out of the count. There's like doing like a side game with like Daryl Boston or whatever. We were writing some shit on like whiteboards. But I remember talking to him afterwards for a little bit, and we were asking him like joking, like, "Oh, like what's the steal sign or whatever?" And he's like, "Ah, it doesn't matter. No one pays attention to the signs anyway." And at first I thought it was a joke, but you watch the base running this year, it's like, you know what? I'm starting to think that's feasible. Debo
Yeah.
might not have been lying there.
Like
I
how
don't
many?
think it
There's
matters.
been like 2 or 3 times that come to mind where like guys were just like caught in no man's land off first base, misreading fly balls and
No,
shit.
it didn't even
Well, that's got to be Debo's job to just be like, get your fucking ass back here. Like,
Joey
I mean-
Mack.
yeah, he's got to be gone. I mean, seriously, like,
Although he
Kevin-
did show great reservation last night. I even messaged you guys that he actually he held
Yeah.
up in that big situation to keep the bases jammed instead of like trying to force something.
cool,
Yeah,
but
that's surprising.
Trying to learn a lesson there, but then
yeah, cool. You know all those games early in the year that you say
Yeah,
do
all those
matter.
games where you just kept getting guys
Yeah.
thrown out by a mile.
Yeah. When
Six
the White Sox lead the league and guys getting thrown out at home.
Re-enter Grandal.
Yeah.
remember those just like you say, it's still early and those games early in the season matter. So do poorly coached wave them around Wendell kind of moments.
I
That
think
White Sox, I'd say 5 or 6 games probably
Well,
this year.
I guess I shouldn't say I think. What should happen, there should be
Yeah,
like a Game of Thrones red wedding style.
Red
Like
Weddings, or-
it needs to just
dude,
be
that
like
would-
they need a
Yumper,
clean
no,
house, dude.
hold
like,
on. I know Yumper's not watching this because he's at his Illuminati meeting with the Freemasons or whatever. But yeah, we're like, oh, man. It's also how you catch a pass and to give a symbol that you're in a special society. But Yumper, if you're watching this, we need a red wedding White Sox video because he is the king of putting these together and putting perfect. Or
I just thought about-
Yes, you have the same app.
I just thought about this player. I know I mentioned, I think that Elvis Andrews is gonna. I mean, good for him for having this great stretch at the end of the year, and Sox fans wanting him back or not. What is your take on Johnny Cueto? Do you want him?
I throw Johnny Cueto at least a 2-year deal.
I think you got to make him an offer, but I think that's another guy where someone is gonna overpay him, and because I think it's almost like Lance Lynn this year, where I still think Lance Lynn's a good pitcher, but he's not gonna have there's gonna be some
I'll tell you what.
fallback. I think from
Cueto's the guy you give a 1-year deal with a team option.
Yeah.
yeah.
You
But I
can-
think that team's gonna overpay him.
But because he doesn't give a shit. Like Cueto's I love Cueto. Like I know he was a giant, and when the Cubs played against me, it was annoying. But I love that dude.
Mhm.
I love the fact that he varies his deliveries. I love that he's like, I'm going to get outs.
He's
somehow.
the Elvis Andrews of the pitching staff, really. Like that's
Absolutely.
exactly what he was for that starting rotation.
That's a great comparison. Great comparison.
Yumper, you got to make the red wedding video. They don't got one on.
The other question I had, I already talked about Tim Anderson. There's still no. Was he supposed to be back this week, or have they said anything else?
No, I think it's going to be another. I mean,
Cairo said today he's definitely coming back. He goes,
Okay.
he's seeing live pitching. It's just a comfort thing, and I'm guessing now that it's over.
Are you guys at all concerned about Michael Kopech?
yes.
Of course, yeah. I mean, you'd be stupid to say no.
Because was it a shoulder or
Right shoulder inflammation.
Again. Like homeboy needs like an IV of ibuprofen like daily. The inflammation is unreal, but
it's a right.
The worst thing about that was Rick Hahn is like we have no long-term concerns. It's like, oh well, long-term concerns.
Herb and Sean last night on the Chicago post game. How do we say it? Is it what
CHGO
post game last night? They actually asked the same question about, do you even bring Tim Anderson back at this point? Like, especially if they lose tonight, like, do you make is it? And so it was an interesting discussion actually.
I say yes. I say you shut down Luis Robert. Like if you have to tie him to the fucking chair, you tie him to the goddamn chair. You have to protect that kid from himself at this point. He still almost hit a one-handed home run last night, which I would have went ballistic if that stayed fair. Who just hit a homer?
Eloy hit off the wall.
Another metaphor for the season.
309 though, man. That's pretty.
Eloy has definitely been one of the, if we want to start talking about plus and minuses.
Yeah, it's a plus.
The obvious plus is Cease. Another obvious plus though is not only Eloy's second half hitting statistics, but the fact that he is finally seems like he's comfortable as an everyday DH.
Right? Remember when everybody was like, "Oh, but he's not
going to focus." He said it.
For the field, he won't focus. Yeah.
No,
shameless plug.
He fucking said it, Kevin. He said, he goes, "If I don't play the field, I'm not."
No, I'm making fun of Eloy. Like, dude,
fuck you. Shut up and play. Like that's a perfect example of a coach being smarter than the player. Player realized, hey, if I don't do it, people are going to hate me anyway, so I might as well swing it. Oh, I can swing it. Oh, cool. And I don't feel bad. My body's better.
Sox coming back.
You keep it. If Eloy stays healthy, and that is a huge if at this point, but like the middle of the order with Vaughn and Eloy for the next 3 years, like they're set. That is as good of a duo that you're going to have in the middle of the lineup.
There is positives to the season. And for the love of fucking Christ, Jose Abreu leads the goddamn league in hits. And people are acting like he was just dog asses.
He didn't hit any home runs.
No
one other team hit home runs.
Who gives a shit? He's supposed to have like 5 other guys around him that can hit home runs.
I know. And he's the only one that stays healthy too.
Yes, he plays every game.
Do you think? I think
he's improved drastically in the field, and he leads the league in hits.
A couple weeks ago,
he loves this team.
He's like the sunrise and the sunset, death and taxes, man. Every time.
What is this deal gonna look like? I know we talked about it already. Like, I think it's gonna be like a 1-1,
like 16 million. 16 million. I think club option.
Yep, I say club option with a no trade clause. Well, he doesn't have to worry about it. Never mind, he's got.
But 5 and 10.
Never mind, I'm an idiot.
It just drives me crazy though how many people are just like,
oh, got to make a tough decision. We're getting rid of Bray. You got to let him walk.
Right, because they're only saying that because it's like, well, Sheets, we have to keep Sheets. It's like, no.
You don't have to keep Sheets.
Sheets is expendable.
There's 300 Sheets in AAA right now. Like, you do not have to
keep a Bray.
I 100% believe that since I joined this podcast, all I've heard from like one contingent of White Sox fans when I started actually paying attention was get rid of Abreu. Like, it's been like he's washed up.
What month was it?
Every year. This is like 2000.
The defense isn't good. Well, he's improved.
I'm not asking you what year. I'm not asking you what year. What month? What month?
Your meeting is 2019. So that would be November or December of 2019. I think it was. I don't know. When did I join the podcast? 2018 or 2019? I can't remember.
But no. So you joined the winter meetings. I think
2018.
It was 2018.
When Harper signed.
No, but the reason I'm asking what month fits because it happens, like you said, like taxes, the sunrise and the sunset. Abreu starts the year slow, and a bunch of White Sox fans start ripping off the he's washed takes, and then all of a sudden, after the All-Star break, he plays like he normally does, and he ends up leading the league in hits or winning a fucking MVP or it's
Yeah.
just
Mickey
like,
Mouse.
He's an equator person. He needs the warm weather. He spends his off seasons in Florida. Like, it's got to be warm for him. He doesn't like cold weather.
Do you know who also knows that Abreu really brought it on late? My playoff opponent last week in our fantasy baseball league, because I have Abreu. Sorry, I was just bringing that up.
where the points don't matter because there's no money.
It's true as well. I don't even think my opponent's starting any players this week, actually, in the semifinals. But
although
Abreu was so bad early, and then I'm just saying, like with his production, seeing him in fantasy every week, it's like it was doing this like the whole time.
it's
like
just,
an
that's what
elevating
he does every fucking year, though. It's just
He is gonna rock out with the Astros.
you know what?
How about the Cubs? We need a DH.
Every only time I like actively root
Cubs.
for an Astros player,
true,
do really well. Wherever Jose Abreu goes, I will be a fan.
I can honestly say
That's a new thing. Sign Abreu.
the only team that it would like hurt my soul is if Jose Abreu went to the Twins or the Guardians.
I was gonna say, well, you know who needs some power hitters, or at least some really good production offensively from their
Every
DH
team
spot.
every team in Major League Baseball can use Jose Abreu.
Clubhouse
but, I
guy.
mean,
The defense is actually underrated. It's gotten a lot better each year. Like, it's not great. He's never going to be a Gold Glove winner, but like that's
He's
a very
not terrible.
serviceable first baseman.
yeah,
And
he has improved.
the man loves this team. Actually, genuinely loves this team. Loyalty that you do not see in professional sports at all anymore. This man loves the team. He says the White Sox saved his life getting him out of Cuba. He actively recruits for this team. He's taken less money for this team.
Time to
He
recruit
told
better players.
yeah, Luis Robert.
Uh,
But he told Jerry if he doesn't sign him, he's going to sign himself.
I
Like
was
this
gonna say-
man is loyalty that is very, very, very rare in any professional sport.
But what if Jose Abreu
people
loves
just
the White
wanna
Sox
throw
so
him
much?
away.
He's like, I love you guys, but I have to let you go.
I would get it. Literally, whatever team Jose Abreu goes to, I will, except for the Twins and the Guardians, I will be a fan. Even if he goes to the fucking Astros or the Yankees. Oh God, the Yankees have one hurt, but I'll still root for him. I will still root for Jose Abreu.
Is
no
it going to
matter
be?
wherever he
It's,
goes.
I mean, if he does go, it's going to be weird, right? Like the Frank Thomas when he was like with the A's, and
Weirder.
the
I don't even want to
Jays.
think about it. Yeah.
Weirder. I think for me, it would actually. So Frank Thomas, I was young.
Mhm.
You know, like I didn't really understand like the, like just what was going on to the point where I understand it.
Like
now.
you didn't
I
have
mean,
the everyday fandom of like.
I've literally watched Jose Abreu's entire career from
Yeah.
day one to right now. Like, and I've heard the interviews. I've seen how this man talks about this team. When he hit the hit in extra innings, I was like literally overcome with like elation because I was like, fuck yes. If anybody was going to do it, it was Jose Abreu. And I'd be fucking pissed. And it's just, that's what makes me mad when people are just like, oh, well, we just got to get rid of Abreu and we'll move on. Bro, like
literally
I mean,
carry.
who
The
hurt you,
team
dude?
too. What was one of the biggest complaints this year? It's like this team doesn't look like they care. They don't show any effort. They don't like Jose Abreu. You could never question the effort. He would play hurt. He like actively looked pissed in the dugout when they weren't doing anything. Sure, he's not the most vocal guy, but like he gave a shit.
I might buy a Jose Abreu jersey right now.
Think about this too. How many people like don't realize, like they don't appreciate the fact that the sun rises every morning and sets every night consistently, and we don't all die. Jose Abreu is that kind of guy. People don't appreciate consistency. They just don't. I guess it's too easy for them to embrace. This is the same reason why you see players in sports just in general that are the consistent ones that get overlooked by their fan base because they're just the same every year. They're that consistent and they take it for granted. I mean, Jose Abreu is taken for. If you don't think that Jose Abreu should be given whatever he asks for to retire a White Sox player, like
If you're gonna overpay someone, that's the guy.
And here's the thing, though.
Absolutely. There it is. There it
Jose,
is.
you don't even got to worry about that with Jose Abreu. Jose Abreu might just walk in and be like, "Give me a year and $5 million. I'm here."
Andre Dawson, here's the contract. Here's the check. Fill it out. I'll take whatever you put on that number.
Yeah, just give me a year and $5 million. I'm good. Just cover my mortgage. Let's roll. I'm just saying, like that wouldn't even surprise me. I'm not saying he's gonna do it, but I wouldn't even be surprised if he does. That's how he talks about this.
I don't think they're going, but I don't like. Despite all the meatheads on Twitter saying they should, I don't think they will. He's too valued in that locker room. Like there would probably be a mutiny in that locker room if you let Jose Abreu walk.
Well, you know what's gonna suck?
Although I'm already here now. I'm actually tonight, my first prayer tonight before I go to sleep is now, will you please make it happen that Jose Abreu will sign with the Cubs as a first baseman or DH this offseason for a 2-year deal?
Do it, Kevin.
I mean,
Start
it
the
would be-
campaign.
That
I'm
probably
gonna be
the first baseman you guys have had in the last 20 years, arguably.
Start praying.
Oh,
It's better than Frank
whoa.
Schwindel. Better than Frank Schwindel. You're right. He's better than Frank.
Rizzo too.
But
I mean,
probably
true. It is true.
and then
Defensively, not so much. But
And then when Jose's career is over, when he says he's done, you make him head of like your international scouting team or something. Like you, whatever, and just keep paying him. The White Sox should pay Jose Abreu until he dies.
That's right. Keep the tradition alive. Just hire all these ex-White Sox players and never get better.
Jose
I'm not saying
Abreu for
make
manager, baby.
I'm not saying make him a manager.
Jose Abreu.
No, but that's the problem with the White Sox. They keep fucking hiring guys who are just part of the teams before, and
That's
nothing
true.
changes though.
That's true.
Chris
Well, I'm
Getz
just-
is like
I'm
your
just
fucking
saying make
player
him a scout.
development guy.
I don't need.
Hey, he
I
had
don't
a
think
solid couple seasons chewing gum on the bench,
Yeah, Chris Getz is not Jose Abreu, but
and he's still employed.
He's still employed. That's the
I will say,
exactly. So that's the
but-
problem.
to the whole positives from the season, another positive from the season is I think the farm system took a bigger leap forward than I anticipated.
Closer
as a
Montgomery,
whole.
minor league player of the year.
Was he minor league player of the year or was he White Sox minor league player?
White
of the year?
Sox minor league player.
Oh,
I
White Sox
believe.
minor league.
Yeah, I mean that's. I was gonna say.
King of the
I
idiot.
did. I actually
Yeah,
did
thank
read
you,
that
thank you for
wrong.
putting
I
it
thought
way
was, like,
nicer
the
than I
entire
was
minor
about
league.
to, Mitch. Yes, king of the idiots.
Okay.
But I mean, Oscar Colas took steps forward.
Yeah.
I'm still a little bit concerned about Cespedes' development. There's a reason why he didn't get the call up and Colas did.
Is there
but
any
none-
concern that do the White Sox have any pitching coming up?
I think Davis Martin. Let's go.
well, you're gonna get a healthy Crochet back.
Yes,
Crochet's
he's
very
gonna help the
huge.
Crochet back.
They-
Maybe
Well,
Crochet.
coming out from
That
Tommy
bullpen
John.
this year.
Maybe Crochet and
Their
Kopech
first-hand
flip-flop.
Firsthand testimony, he looks fucking dirty. So
Flip-flop.
there we
He's
go.
always been a.
Flip-flop.
I mean,
Friend of the
I
show,
don't hate
Tanner
it.
Google.
So
I
I,
said he looks filthy. So
although first year back after Tommy, they'll probably.
Yeah, that's what I'm
you
saying.
probably
Like,
have
first
to
year
put him in the
back, guys still
bullpen.
struggle.
Yeah,
Tanner's coming, assholes. Let's go.
All right, there
Yeah,
you go, Tanner.
When
There
my
you go.
kid, my kid will be like 6 when he's up.
props to Davis Martin though. I mean, I will say, like Davis Martin, one of the unsung heroes of this team. Every time he got called, it was like every time we needed
had
a
one
starter.
really
All right,
shitty
Davis
game.
Martin, come on in. And there were
He
some big games he had to pitch in, and he did a solid job.
He had
I
one
still
shitty
remember that
game.
Tampa Bay
He had
game.
one bad game, but like that's to be expected.
One shitty game.
The Tampa Bay
Um,
game, he gave 4 runs in the first inning and then just shut him down.
But
And
I
then
don't
he's
want
like,
this to
"Right,
get
kept him
overlooked
in."
because I think I'm onto something, and this doesn't happen often. You put Kopech back in the bullpen, you make Crochet the starter.
Dude, I don't think Garrett
Stand
Crochet is
him out.
going to be a starter.
But
He's
you
the
can
starter
say
at
this.
Tennessee.
But he
He
his
wants
work
to
his
too.
I feel like his rehab work has also been the rehab work of a reliever.
He's
Oh,
not
okay.
going to be
Yeah,
a
first
starter.
year
though.
back, it's going to be tough to
Yeah.
throw him back in the
I
rotation.
think at this point, you're going to get what you can get from a guy
Okay,
that's
follow up.
out like that.
New idea. Scrap that idea. New idea. You get rid of Liam Hendricks and you make Crochet your closer and save that money.
I love that. I love
Okay.
that. I love
Because
that.
that's the thing.
He's never
you can
closed the
trade
game
Liam
before.
for
I would
something
be a-
good.
Big lefty that throws triple digits as a closer.
Mitch,
Fuck yes.
Liam is our only
yes.
like trade piece. That can
I'm
get
fine with
anything back.
trading Liam, especially with his value high. And I like that. That's fine. I mean, throwing Crochet there right away, though.
Not right
There's
away.
still potential there, but like,
But yeah, like eventually.
Give it to him. He's ready.
But
He's older.
Joe-
He's an
I
older. He's an
mean,
older kid now. He's fine.
Joe Kelly's gone. Graverman's been cheeks. Raylo could be a
Graverman hasn't
closer.
been bad. He's like a 2.38 ERA.
I don't trust Graverman whatsoever. When he
I think
Joe
came out
Kelly
last
isn't
night-
gone, by the way. He still has another year.
No, fuck him. Tell him to stay in California. I think Graverman. I just have no trust in Graverman whatsoever.
Graveman has not been terrible.
He's
He's had a
one,
couple bad out.
he's one of those guys though. When he's on the hill, it just doesn't feel good at all ever. Like it's like 2 hard line drives hit at somebody, and then like he'll get a strikeout, and it's like, oh my god, like we got
There's too
through
many
that.
balls.
You know what I mean? It's just
Not enough
another.
strikes.
But that brings me to another big positive from the season. Raylo.
Yeah,
Yes. Make
I
him
mean,
the
Raylo
closer.
could be a closer,
I could see Raylo being the closer. Yeah.
and you could even work the Raylo Crochet righty lefty closer.
Oh, that'd be filthy.
I mean, that
That's
seems to be
cute.
becoming more of a common practice. I mean, the traditional setup man closer role, I don't know.
If you had
Yeah.
Crochet in this bullpen, you wouldn't have had to made the move for Diekman because that was the big thing. He's like,
And then you make 0 moves.
yeah, that's true.
The trade deadline. There could be
You
10 years
called it,
from
by
now.
the way, so you called it.
We will have a goddamn hopefully we're still doing it, but we'll have like a Pinwheels reunion show, and you guys will be like, "Oh, Zoe, how you doing?" I'm still mad about the 2022 trade deadline.
How's the
The worst
Wi-Fi?
part about that, I remember because it's like trade deadline season, and the White Sox hadn't made a move, and like usually trade happens, you want to like jump on it right away, especially for like writing articles and whatnot.
Yep.
So I remember the final day of the deadline, I was sitting by my computer like all day, and my girlfriend's like, "Hey, you want to hang?" No, it's trade deadline. I gotta be like by my laptop. So then finally, it's like 5 o'clock. I'm like, all right, I'm going out to get some food. As soon as I left the house to go get food, they alert that's a trade. It's like, are you kidding me? So not only was it only one move for a mediocre reliever, they did it the one time during the day I left the house to get food. So I couldn't even jump on it right away. Oh, I was so pissed. Oh.
No. It's just, I will. I mean, you guys can visit me in the home when I'm like 86 years old, and you'd be like, "What's up?" So I'll be like, "2022 trade deadline was fucking embarrassing."
You're just like Dick.
You'll be like Joe Pesci
Dick
from
man.
The Irishman.
Yeah.
I mean, oh, that
That is one thing I will never let go. Someone needs to explain it to me. I need Rick Honda to like call me and be like, "This is why nothing happened." I need to know why.
I'm just as upset with you, so we had a seat at the table, and
yeah,
these other teams they want a prospect.
Well, you got
You're
actually,
stuck
you
here, Meyer,
actually
to
got
be
a pretty good impression going there. You got the tone, but it's just to the day I die, the 2022 MLB trade deadline for the White Sox will just instantly like set me off. It's disgusting. I just don't understand it. Don't understand it until somebody who knows what actually happened that day, like, can tell me like they were in on all these guys and actually why they didn't get what happened, or tell me that somebody wanted like Jose Abreu, Luis Robert, and Eloy Jimenez for someone or something, like something crazy.
Well,
I mean, so they called the
negotiating with
Angels about
for
Otani.
Shohei all day, and then they found out the offer was too high. And like, oh crap, we just wasted half the trade deadline talking to the Angels about Shohei.
Yeah. They called about Otani.
Then you're a moron. Then you're a moron. You're an absolute. You're
like, guys, wait, you don't want Luis Garcia? And
like the fact that he
Cespedes?
is willing to like publicly admit that, and he doesn't care that he looks that dumb publicly to like fall on whatever this invisible sword is for Jerry. It's just unbelievable.
Oh, I wanted to bring this up earlier when we were talking about Abreu. What's going to suck about that? Because I do think he's coming back like close to 100%. The Sox are going to be like, all right, we got our leader back, our most consistent hitter. We spend money on him. That was our big free agent move.
Yeah, they're gonna do the Larry Garcia.
They'll be like, yeah, guys, look, we spend.
Oh God. Well, I mean, at this point,
And it's going to be unfair to Jose because everyone's going to be like, oh, great, cool, Jose's back and nobody else.
Yeah.
He deserves a good going out party wherever he's at.
I didn't even hate the Liuri signing. Like, I understood it, but they don't even use him properly. Like, if you're using him as like the way he's supposed to be used, then he's a fine player to have in your locker room. Other players like him. He's been there a while. He can play everywhere. But like, they start him almost every day, which makes it so infuriating. And then you look at the contract and it's batting every. That was the worst part about it, is that they did not use him, and they didn't add to sign anyone else. You sign like 3 other players, or hell, 1 other good free agent. No one cares about the Liuri deal as much.
I got to figure out which team I'm going to root for in the playoffs.
Seattle. Yeah.
Team Trackhouse in the 99.
It's gotta be Seattle.
That's who you root for in the playoffs.
The only problem with rooting for Seattle is the games are on so goddamn late.
What aren't they going to be?
Are they late though?
Yes,
Are they going to be facing like Toronto?
Probably. I'd
East
have to
Coast
pull it up.
time.
I mean, I pick a team, but I'm going to be gambling on all this shit anyway, so I'm going to just be rooting for my money. All right, fellas, I think it's time.
Yes.
I think it's time for the most anticipated podcast segment out
the
there.
vibes
right
up.
now.
Oh,
Hold on. Oh, I clicked the wrong
tissue
button.
real quick.
And where'd it go? Shit. Why do we have so many pictures in here now? Did someone delete it?
Who did that? I blame the Bears
Oh, no.
people.
Here it is. Got it. It's NASCAR Minute with NASCAR Mitch.
Hell yeah, it is. All right. Little teaser for next week. You were promised the BJ McLeod origin story. That'll be next week. We will get to that next week. We're working on it. We got to find out how this man got his money. So teaser.
I love the research. I love the research going into
We're putting in a good one. Unfortunately, there's too much to cover this week from Bristol. Bristol, baby. It's a third race of the first round of the playoffs. Cutoff race 2. Now, before we get into the actual race, they have like their Xfinity series. It's like the AAA series for NASCAR. There's a character, Noah Gragson, that I would like to tell you all about. So at Bristol, the trophy is a sword. And so Noah Gragson won this trophy. So the first thing about Noah Gragson is he like has this thing where he throws up after like every race he wins. And so he gets out of the car and there's just like puke all over his like fire suit and everything. So it was nasty. And he just like constantly throws up. And then after he throws up, he always shotguns a beer. So every race he wins, it's like a tradition. He's won like 6 races. He always throws up and then shotguns a beer. And then somehow drives the car back into victory lane. So he's kind of a character. So after he won this race, there's a video, you can look it up too. He went to a Waffle House with the sword trophy he won from Bristol, and he was like hammered cutting a waffle with his like Bristol sword trophy in the middle of a Waffle House. So
Don't hate it. What's this guy's name again?
Noah Gragson.
Might be my new favorite racer.
He's going to be in the Cup Series next year. So yeah,
he's on the team next year.
Yeah, there you go. So let's get to the actual race. This race was a shit show. I'm not going to lie. It kind of sucked ass. It was very eventful, but like it was the passing was difficult. There was not a whole lot of passing. And there's no tire fall off in the race, but there was like plenty of flat tires for some reason. So like usually in a race like this, part of the fun of it is to like some of the experienced drivers, like you'll save your stuff or whatever, and you'll see guys like passing people really early, but then they burn up their tires. And you burn up your tires, all of a sudden late in the race, the people that have been saving their stuff, they can like make all the passes. So there's a lot of strategy involved in it. But there's no tire fall off. You can go 100 laps, like the tires wouldn't flatten. So that made it awful. But like I said, there's plenty of incidents here. So cutoff race, there's a lot of guys kind of on the cut line. And I'll just go through the list of incidents because that was more interesting than the racing. So Harrison Burton, he skims the wall. He gets a flat tire. JJ Yeley, he blues up. JJ Yeley, Jesus, scrub, so don't really need to know his name anyway.
Not gonna work there anymore.
Yeah, exactly. He blew a right front tire. Eric Almirola, he lost his power steering. Austin Cindric, he hit the wall. He got a flat right front. Ryan Blaney, he gets a right front flat. He didn't even hit the wall. It was just like completely random. And it was an omen of things to come for Ryan Blaney. So Ryan Blaney had a comfortable playoff cushion, but this happens all of a sudden, the wheels literally start falling off. So he goes to pit.
Double entendre.
Yeah, exactly. So he goes to pit, but they don't put the tire on properly. So he's pulling out of his pit stall and the tire just rolls off. And they're like, wait, come back. And he's like, how the hell do you expect me to come back? I have 3 tires. So he has to do like a mini burnout, spin, try and get back into the pit stall with 3 tires. So
you drive to the 7-Eleven that
they
way.
put on the other tire. He gets out of the pit lane and he's like, okay, my steering's not working now. So he's going around the track. All of a sudden, like the rear of his car starts sparking because it's like hitting the ground. His steering barely works. So he has to go back into the pit lane and they're trying to fix the car. So you have to like 10 minutes, the way it works in NASCAR. You get 10 minutes to fix the car. And if you can't get it back out on the track in 10 minutes, like you're done, you're eliminated. That's how Chase Elliott got eliminated from the first race. So they're frantically trying to fix the car. They think they get it. They're like, go back out there. He goes back out there. He's like, dude, this is still shit. So then he had to go back. They took him behind the wall. He's sitting there as like the car's crooked and they're like trying to fix underneath the car. So he's like 30 laps down at this point. So if he doesn't finish the race, he's kind of screwed. So literally it was just get back out there and run all the laps and then you'll be safe. So his day was miserable because he was driving around with a broken car, like 40 laps down.
We all did that in college. We did that in college.
So then later in the race, 10 car, he gets into the 2 car that hits the 21 car. He causes him to spin. So there's another incident. Bubba Wallace, he gets smoke coming from his car. His steering randomly stops working. Meanwhile, Ryan Blaney's car back behind the wall, still trying to fix it, throws him back out. And I'm praying because my guy, Daniel Suarez, his car was junk too. So there's this thing in F1. It's called porpoising, like the animal. And so what that means is off the turns, your car just starts like bouncing, which is like a weird thing they have in Formula One they're trying to get rid of.
I just Googled that and it came up with a way different video. Involved a dolphin, a 9-iron, and a rubber. Go ahead. Anyway.
2 cars, 1 cup. Is that what you got? 2 cars, 1 cup.
So usually only happens with F1 cars, but Daniel Suarez's car was so bad, like his car was doing it. So he was just saying like the whole time he's just going around like bouncing and he's getting passed because like his car was just so slow. And so like he's below the cut line. So I'm praying. I'm like, all right, we need Blaney like out of the race. It's the only way we can get back in. But all these people are just having all these issues. Like Bowman's car, the 48, he lost his power steering. Martin Truex Jr., the guy that we're talking about had bad luck. He lost his power steering. Yeah, it was terrible.
With the power steering fluid.
Truex, his car, they're like, all right, you're out of the playoffs anyway. Like, just park it. And so he opened up the hood, flipped off his engine, and then he walked to his trailer. So that was kind of funny. I appreciated that. 42 car late in the race. He hooked the 43. That one goes spinning. The other caution comes out. He walked to his trailer. So that
was
I don't know
weird.
what that was. Denny Hamlin, another steering issue, and then he has tire issues too. So his tires just randomly shit the bed. Then Kyle Busch, another car on the cut line. His engine just blows up. So he's out of there. No, that's Kevin Harvick. Kyle Busch is the douche with the really good energy drink.
It's the guy from Burn Notice.
Oh no,
That's Joey Logano. Joey Logano beat up Kyle Busch one race.
that's why I was mixing them up. It sounds like they all need this guy.
Yes, yes,
This
they
guy
do.
could have
Because
made a
all the
big
tires
difference.
just randomly going down.
Yes.
All right, so now we're getting near the end. So we have all.
Guy. I'm that guy.
So finally, like it's just been like I said, this is a shit show of the race. All these cars are just failing. Like no one's passing each other. Like you're praying for hold on. And then Daniel Suarez in his like bouncy car, he's going and he loses control and he causes this big wreck. His car somehow survived the wreck. It was already terrible, but like got even worse. So he's just like kind of going around the track still. But in the wreck, he caught Austin Dillon, the 3 car, who has the terrible reality TV show. He slipped in the last race. I don't like him because his granddad owns his team. And then Tyler Reddick, the guy that's sponsored by Guaranteed Rate. But he had a car that said Cheddar's this week. So I thought that was kind of cool. But both of their cars got caught in the wreck. They both couldn't finish the race. So they're out of the playoffs now because they couldn't finish the race. They didn't have enough points. So that Suarez's crash eliminated those two. It made him safe. Kyle Busch, despite the crash, he still was 5 points to the good. So he just had to hope like he could hang on, even though he was out of the race, which he couldn't. He couldn't hang on. He got knocked out too. So we had 3 guys out. There's only one more car that was going to be out. And it was basically coming down to Kevin Harvick or Suarez. So Harvick, we have his photo. Let's see if you can find him properly. Yep.
That's him. That's him. Oh, okay.
So-
Killer Bush Light guy.
Yep. So the first 2 races of this playoff, his car, and then the second race in Kansas, he hit the wall. He hit the wall and he couldn't finish. So his first 2 races, he didn't finish. The only way he can move on to the next round is if he wins the race. Suarez just has to hope he finishes the race and Kevin Harvick doesn't win. But Harvick, he's a gamer. He's up in 3rd place here. Late. So 3rd place. And then, like I said, it's been very hard to pass this entire race. So his crew chief, track position's critical. He's like, yeah, screw the track position. We're getting 4 tires. And Harvick's like, all right, I guess. They go in to get the 4 tires. And guess what happens? It gets screwed up. They don't attach it properly. Tires falling off. Just Kevin Harvick pit stop. Doesn't finish it. And then he falls back. So, yeah, it was unfortunate for him. So finally, later in the race, we get our first pass for the lead all race. And this is like in the 3rd straight. Just Brad Keselowski, Midwestern guy from Michigan. He passes Kyle Larson for the lead. So Brad could get his first win this year. Good for Brad, right? And then guess what happens? His tire doesn't work. It just blows up. Like his tire goes flat. He hits the wall.
Pete stop.
Chris Bell takes the lead. So Christopher Bell, now he's looking like he's doing pretty good. Guess what happens to him? His tire blows up. Now, BJ McLeod, he just ran all the laps because he was going so slow. His tires were just fine, but he
I
was
have a theory about him, by the way. I feel like he's just one of those guys that's just like happy to be there.
I think so.
Like he just doesn't care.
Let's just see this picture again.
So finally, mercifully, Chris Buescher takes the lead. His tires don't fail him, and he wins. And it put a merciful end to this long NASCAR minute and this long and incredibly boring race. Hey, there's Chris Buescher in the chat right there. So Chris Buescher is Brad Keselowski owns the team that Chris Buescher's on. So Brad was all sad that he couldn't win his first race, but then he's like, all right, well, my driver won, so I feel a little bit better. And that's your NASCAR.
Brad Keselowski sounds like the guy.
Look at that.
Brad Keselowski sounds like the guy from Monsters, Inc.
Yes, Mike was. Yep. One last mini nugget that I forgot to mention last week. There was a big free agency announcement. It's called Silly Season in NASCAR, the free agency. So Kyle Busch, he's one of the best drivers of our generation.
Stop.
What is the name?
Stop. They call their free agent season Silly Season.
Swear to God. Yep.
Might as well call it that for the White Sox too. But go ahead.
Honestly, that would be a good
season. Silly Sox season.
So he wants a lot of money from Joe Gibbs, and Joe Gibbs is like, I have my grandson coming up, and he is cheap, so you're not getting your ride back. And Mars Candy, who is paying him, like he has all the M&M cars, they're like, yeah, we're pulling our sponsorship. We're not sponsoring NASCAR anymore. So now he's got no sponsor to pay him, and Joe Gibbs is like, well, I'm not finding the sponsor. I got my grandson, so he's a free agent. No one knows where he's going to go. This week he decided where he's going to go, which was a shock to everyone. He went to Richard Childress Racing, who Richard Childress back in the day got into a fight. He put Kyle Busch in a headlock and punched him. And he famously said to someone before this, "Hold my watch." And then he went to go punch Kyle Busch. And now Kyle Busch is driving for the guy that punched him.
That's some mutual respect right there, though. Kyle Busch is like, you know what? We can have this conversation.
Like,
He punched him in the head before. We're friends.
Sounds like
We're family
this
now.
is a serious case of, I think the collegiate term is fuck around and find out.
Yep.
And it sounds like this is a classic case of that.
I'm still going to eat M&Ms, but it's just not
Oh,
going to
yeah.
taste.
The
It won't
Cookie
taste.
Crunch ones, they're delicious.
I had the new caramel ones. Those are really good. I haven't
It's
had
Halloween
a
season.
regular M&M probably since last Halloween.
It's Halloween season right now, so all
The
these
cook-
M&Ms are all on
it's
sale right
Halloween,
now.
and I got a 2-year-old. I'm gonna
So
be
good.
swimming in candy.
I keep every time I go to the grocery
Did you
store.
got
I'm
his
buying it.
costume yet, too?
No, by the way, Little Zoe might be in the NASCAR minutes too. I see him. He's the young driver already. He might be taking Joe Gibbs' spot pretty soon.
Hey man, if he
I
can
need
get
some
paid,
NASCAR footage of the little guy.
he's just in his. I bought him one of those like Hot Wheels, but it looks like Lightning McQueen.
Yeah.
He can't reach the pedals yet though, so he just sits in it.
Hey, you know what? BJ McLeod started when he was 2 years old, so
I'm
never
pretty sure
too
he
young.
can't. I'm pretty sure
Starting
BJ
early.
McLeod still can't reach the pedals.
Yeah, that is
Well.
probably true. He can reach the brake. I don't know if he can reach the gas. Clearly,
I'm.
Yeah, you just
it's-
throw a
you
brick
have
down.
me on the edge of my seat on how that guy made his money.
next week we will have the BJ McLeod origin story.
It's going to be very anticlimactic. I guarantee it's going to be like his uncle died and he inherited a shit ton of
Yeah,
money. But like, I really want it to be like he had like a fireworks stand in New Mexico and he just like worked his way up from that or something like that. Like, I want it to be so hillbilly. It's not. Oh, God, I hope it's like so hillbilly.
Hillbilly
I just wanted
Ponzi
to-
scheme.
Yes,
Yeah.
please let it be a hillbilly Ponzi scheme, like trailer park axle grease or something.
There is a
like that.
guy back in the day. I forget his name, but he won the 24 Hours of Le Mans, which is a big race.
I have heard of that. I have heard of that.
He funded his racing career by selling weed, basically. And so he was like slinging. He had this like boat, and he would like pick up weed and like make drop off ship, and that funded like his entire career. Because everyone's like, "How is he getting all this money?" Well, it's all-
Ozark shit right there.
and then the FBI caught him, and then there's a documentary about him on Netflix.
But I mean,
Oh,
this
wow.
guy
Yeah.
could easily have like raised his money, like filtering natty lights into another beer and he calling it homebrew or some shit like that, and like just scam the system. I just wanted to be something like amazingly like hillbilly engineering.
DJ's Brew.
Like I just wanted to be like something like amazing like that. Like he made like blue crystal meth or something like crazy hillbilly. Oh God, I hope it's good. It's gonna be something lame.
He like
but I
slipped
hope
that
it's-
wall.
Probably will be.
Won a
but-
lawsuit.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Like he was in a 7-Eleven and he spit on the ground from his dip in his mouth and he slipped on his own dip spit and then sued 7-Eleven and got like a couple $1 million and turned that into a racing team.
You know how much you can get for a fall in the store?
That's what I'm saying.
Slip and fall pays for the bill.
Smoke it.
I don't know. Maybe next week we can start talking about off-season plans, like real off-season plans.
Oh,
Silly
buddy, we're
season.
gonna have like 3 months of that.
You-
Come on.
You know what the best
I
part
know.
about the off season is, though? We're gonna have 5th guests on here multiple times because we're gonna have the old friend of the show, Jason Shreve, is ready to come on. So we got
Yeah.
that.
Sox should,
I mean-
should sign him.
If
We're gonna
if you're still listening to this show, please shoot either us individually or the main account, or comment on the Facebook account. Any guests that you'd like to see on the show, realistic guests,
Absolutely.
dickheads. But like,
BJ McLeod.
yeah, that'd be.
So
Can
yeah,
you imagine?
maybe Raleigh Fingers will come on the show. I don't know.
Don't start name dropping because we can't make promises.
Tony
but
La Russa.
yeah, like don't put like you want,
First
like,
interview after
yeah.
getting fired.
Aaron
Chris.
Aaron Judge. Like
Parker.
it's like, oh, I would love to have Aaron Judge on the show, but like it's not gonna happen. But if it's in
Richard-
the realm of possibility and like we can make it happen, especially if it's another beat writer or blogger or anything like that you'd always just wanted to see us work with or anything like that.
Fitness guru like Richard.
We're
Hey,
open to
anything's
anything.
possible. I interviewed Jack McDowell earlier in the year. Anything, you never
There
know.
you go.
Yeah,
What if we got? What if we got a special guest for the NASCAR minute?
that's what he's saying. What if you get like
What if you talked
Joey Logano to come
Shot.
on here and
with
I would love to have Joey Logano on here. He,
that-
don't
Great
tough talk it,
right.
Mitch. He's in Vegas. I mean, Fitz can maybe get him on here, and then I'm
I-
gonna
we-
pull this clip of
we
him
had-
tough
yeah,
talking,
yeah.
and it's gonna be awkward.
amazing what people will do.
That'd would be awesome if he did show up. And I'm like, hey, Joey, real quick, before we start the interview, I just need you to watch this clip of Mitch being like, I'd love to have that motherfucker on the show.
Well, by the way, I mean, we haven't even talked about this since, by the way, but the other night I might have had a couple extra soda pops, but there's the big race coming up in Vegas. And so we need to know if
first race of the round of 8, baby.
how about a NASCAR Mitch video from
Live.
Vegas live from a pit? I don't know.
That'd be cool. Could happen. That one's probably a bigger chance than getting Aaron Judge in the show.
I think so, probably.
Props to Slayer.
pretty hard to pull that card. But that's gonna be here,
We're
right?
getting
That's pretty much the show.
if you did that.
Higher chances either the Sox or the Cubs sign Aaron Judge, or Aaron Judge
Ooh.
comes on Pinwheels and Ivy podcast.
Aaron Judge was on Pinwheels and Ivy podcast.
Yeah. We can hear like a
Um,
week and a half.
Yeah, we could start doing hypotheticals. I mean, I know Fids and Aldo, you both know the drill, but Mitch, get ready for a lot of just weird ass shows. It's off season mode.
Yep.
I
If
mean,
they haven't already been weird, they're gonna get weirder.
oh, they get
Yeah,
weird.
Oh,
think about your favorite baseball movie that doesn't involve a chimp that plays third base, and we'll move on from that.
Wait,
But I
before
mean,
we end the show-
obviously
end the show.
throughout the playoffs, though, we will talk about like what's going on
Yeah.
in Major League Baseball and the playoffs and all that stuff. But yeah,
The season is technically not over yet.
Right.
Confidence level.
You're saying there's a chance 3. I can't compare.
wow, that was a hard three right out the gate.
I was thinking about this,
or-
but I was
no?
assuming this question would come up. I'm at a 3.
0.76.
Kevin. Kevin, you were at a 0 last week.
Well,
Kevin
I
was
was gonna
right.
say, I said how that first series went, but then they lost. Now they've lost 2 of the first. It's if we
Oh
could
yeah,
do-
I guess that was before they lost tonight.
if
All
we
right,
can
2.5.
If we can go to integers, I'm actually in the negative now. I am actually concerned that they're going to finish in third place at this point right now.
I mean, if they get swept by the Twins,
Jesus.
I think I'm like at a 0.005.
Yeah, I'm at 0.76 because like you have to like leave that like little margin in case like Cleveland just decides to lose every game. for
Lose
the rest
out,
of the
yeah.
season.
That means the Twins
We
get it.
need the Royals AAA squad to come through for us.
Yeah,
That's right, so just bet the Royals money line every game, so.
You
No.
hit one of those, you're gonna clean up.
it's true. White Sox exclusive postseason presale was started at 10 a.m. today. If anybody's interested.
That was awful. You wake up and you get that email. It's like, oh, you bastard.
Rough timing.
Wait, is it 5 or 6? Now the app's not updated.
5.
So it's 5, right? All right.
Well, it's 4, so now it's gonna be 6 after we lose tonight. It'll
I
be
hope
6.
they start doing like fun shit, like calling Colas up,
Oh,
just to, like whatever.
Yeah,
You know
no,
what I mean?
I'm
Like
okay
just start
with
doing. So real quick, just a feel good stat to end the show. In McKenzie's last 15 innings against the White Sox, 27 strikeouts, no walks.
He's good.
I mean, he's been really good. He's been really good this year.
In 15 innings, 27 strikeouts, no walks.
I think he's gonna get like a really expensive Rolex watch from Marcus Stroman for his.
Hey, you
season.
know what? Brad Keselowski thought he had
True.
the race in the bag too, and then he blew a tire. So Cleveland,
They could lose
Yeah,
out.
no.
So
the final stretch, they could blow a tire.
It's not over. I mean, it's technically
Coming
until
full
it's
circle.
I did say today on Twitter that I would not start doing off-season plans
Math.
until they were mathematically eliminated.
It ain't over till it's over. Ever.
I mean,
I'm not
all
getting my hopes up.
I'm
But
all for like an absolutely epic collapse by Cleveland. That would be amazing.
And you know what, too? And you're going to tune in every night because you do. And you're going to take your medicine like you should.
so I was like, I don't know.
All right.
And
So,
they
most-
just released the Legends program in MLB The Show. That
so-
might
so-
be.
well,
That's
you'll
the
have
other
to-
thing.
it's gotten to the point from appointment television to like, yeah, if it's on, I'll watch it.
I'll throw it on my
But
phone.
I'm not
like,
going out of my way to
I'll
watch
probably be
You'll
playing.
put it on your phone.
I'll
You
be
can
on
see
MLB The
it.
Show, and then I'll throw on YouTube TV on my phone, and because I like listening to Jason
Yeah.
and Steve.
Yep.
And I'll just,
Like,
yeah.
I don't think Zoe's going to be staying up for
He is
that
watching.
for that
He is
for
watching.
Padres game.
No, there will be no more midnight bedtimes watching
Yeah.
extra innings of the White Sox play slap and tickle with the fucking Twins. I don't need that shit. On that high note, that's Mitch, that's Fizz, that's Aldo, I'm Zoe. We'll see you guys next week.